Welcome back to a fresh episode of All Access with the Profs. I'm Derek Hill.
And I'm Sean Kelly. The spring weather is finally here and our Profs are certainly happy about it.
That's right, Sean. The weather is certainly affecting the Profs play on the field, but it's also affecting us as students too.
Has.
I mean, I woke up yesterday and I was elated to be able to put on a pair of shorts for the first time.
When Derek uses the word elated, you know it's real.
I'm telling you, man.
Fantastic weather.
I can't wait to go outside later today too.
I know.
Because this suit walking here, I thought I was going to sweat like crazy.
I know, and now I'm going to put some shorts on.
Haven't
done that in a couple months.
Going to get lunch, put some shorts on, and time to go home because it's spring break.
It's a solid plan.
But despite it being spring break, there's a lot of sports action
Of
to
course.
recap from the past week. So, Sean, why don't you start us off?
Let's get right into it. The women's lacrosse team took a 10-14 loss to the 5th-ranked Salisbury University last Thursday with 9 separate Seagulls, each scoring at least 1 goal. Attacks Emma Skoglund and Gianna D'Amato combined for 6 goals, while attack Alexis Strobel racked up 4 assists on her way to a goal as well. Rowan attacks Maddie Bray and Ashley Leichler did their best with 3 goals, while goalie Emma Frost made 9 saves but couldn't stop Salisbury as they led the entire game.
The women's lacrosse team rode an impressive second half to beat Stevens University 17-6 at home on Saturday. Maddie Bray was the biggest talking point of the Profs' performance, single-handedly outscoring Stevens with 7 goals of her own. The other 10 goals came from a number of different Profs, including Liz Kramer, who posted 3 goals and 2 assists. Jeff Havers would match Kramer with 3 goals as well. The team would host St. Mary's College of Maryland on Wednesday.
The women's lacrosse team fell to St. Mary's College of Maryland on Wednesday 18-17. The leader scorers of both teams, Kate Bartholomew and Maddie Bray for St. Mary's and Rowan respectively, both had 6 goals and 2 assists each. In the second half, there were 7 lead changes. Both teams showed how evenly matched they were as the score continued to go up. Allie Coley would hit the game-winning goal for the Seahawks with 13 seconds left. The Profs fall to 2-2 on the season as they prepare to host Clarkson University next week.
Sean, a lot of lacrosse action this past week. We only had the 1 game recapping in our last episode, but now the team is 2-2. Their goal is to win the NJAC title. I feel like that's every team's goal.
Obviously, at this point, it's got to be. I mean, they're contenders every single year. And obviously, it's a little bit of a shaky start, and it's a little bit worse than years in the past. But I think it's still young. I think they have a little bit of time to kind of shake off the rust and come back. But the thing is, they're keeping the games close. So that's really good, and I think it's going to lead into some good stuff.
I think the veteran leadership that they have, as well as the confidence they have, will bring them back to being that team that we saw them from last year. And Mark Acitelli joins us now in Studio One with members of the women's lacrosse team. Mark, take it away.
Thanks, guys, and welcome into Prof Spotlight. I'm Mark Acitelli. I'm here with 2 Rowan women's lacrosse players. We got Liz Kramer and Maddie Bray. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Liz and Maddie, they are 2 senior captains on the lacrosse team this year. Just got some questions for you guys. Now we'll start off with last season. Last year, you guys had a great season, 14-4 overall in the year. You received an NCAA tournament bid, which is great, and the cool thing was you guys got to host the first-round game, so I'm kind of just wondering, what was it like to play a game in front of the hometown crowd, here at Rowan?
I mean, just to get into the NCAA tournament was like a big thing for us last year, so that was awesome. And then to have that surprise of having a home game was even better. Like having a home playoff game, I don't know, it gets you in your feels. You're so excited. You're so excited.
And you have all, your fans, there's your parents, everyone's there.
Your warm up music, all that stuff. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was nice. And also we got I don't know if you knew, we got a first round bye, so it was nice. The day before, we got to watch the other team play that we were playing the next day, so we were really kind of getting mentally and physically prepared for it. And it was really nice to have it at our home field.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it meant a lot to you guys. I mean, I think the big thing you guys that stands out in that is, you get to play in front of your parents and family. They don't have to travel as far, buy plane tickets, go on those long rides. They can just come right here to Glassboro and see those games. So that's awesome. Yeah. Also last season, talk about you 2 individually. You were both, an integral part of the team. I mean, Maddie, you led the team in goals last year. You had 65 goals on the season. Liz, you led the team in assists. You had 17. So, talking about that, would you guys say you have kind of an unspoken connection with each other on the field?
Yeah. I always say, sometimes in certain plays, I'm behind net sometimes, and, I just feel like I look at Maddie and it's instant connection, twin telepathy, even though we look nothing alike.
Whenever we look at each other and make eye contact, I feel like we know what the other one's gonna do and we know what they want us to do. So it always works out, I feel like.
Yeah. And it helps that Maddie catches everything you throw her.
And Liz has great feeds.
You guys are just talking each other up. It seems like second nature for you guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys make it look pretty easy. I mean, you know, now this season, kind of a rocky start. I mean, we talked about 14-4 last year. You only had 4 losses. This year, you're already 2-2. That's two losses already in the first 4 games. However, going back individually, you two, between the 2 of you in 4 games, you guys have a combined 30 goals. Maddie, you have 18. Liz, you have 12. So, you know, what do you attribute your individual early success?
I mean, I guess when it comes to goal scoring, it's not like we go into games and we're like, oh, I'm going to score this amount of goals. I think like with our offense, with the girls on our team, it just so happens that we end up with the ball on our stick at some points. And
we always have like different plays for different people.
Yeah.
And I think that like we just kind of go out there and like play our game, and everyone else contributes in their own ways. And I don't know, it's like a whole team unit. And although we're not achieving like what we really want, like the 2 losses, we should have won both those games. I think that it's just the whole team has to come together now, and we have this like whole different mindset, and I think it'll really click.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, you know, 2-2, that's not a bad start, but I'm sure you guys have some new players coming in there, freshmen, trying to get, you know, acclimated to the NCAA level, because I'm sure you guys can attest to it. There's a big, you know, change from high school to college across, because, you know, when you get to college, you're playing some of the best players in the country at some points. So,
they're
you know,
doing a good job of adapting too, which is nice.
Well, I'm
we
sure
have a few freshmen in the starting lineup, which is really cool.
Well, I'm sure they would love to hear you guys say that. I mean, you two being senior captains and everything, I'm sure that means a lot to them.
Right.
But, you know, one thing about the NJAC this year, you know, coming into the season last year, you guys lost in the NJAC championship game. Unfortunately, TCNJ, I believe it was 20-9 was the final score. So it was a rough game for you guys. But, you know, this year, the preseason poll came out. TCNJ, once again, they're on top. And you guys are, you know, right behind them in second. Would you guys have to say that, you know, this year, especially being your senior year, there's some unfinished business between the 2 teams?
Definitely.
Yeah. There's for sure unfinished business. They've always been like a high-ranked team, and we've always kind of been lagging behind them. But I think this year, if we kind of get it together, just the whole championship mindset, we'll really be able to like have a good game against them. It's always been like 10-goal lead when we play them, but I really do feel like this year's gonna be different. So I hope for the best.
And like you said, we're 2-2 to start. So like we've seen good competition. We played Salisbury, who was number 5 in the country, and we played our second half. We played with them and showed that we are able to compete with these teams. So I think it'll be definitely interesting to see what happens when we get into conference, because right now we're getting all our kinks out. Once we get going, I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope you guys get on some sort of magical run, start to pick up a little bit of steam as the season goes on. Like we said, it's early in the season. There's plenty of games left for you guys, and, you know, hopefully, I know all the Rowan fans are really hoping you guys take it pretty far this year. That'd be great, especially to win the NJAC championship. That'd be, you know, obviously
awesome.
A big goal for you guys.
Yeah.
But, you know, you guys, we talked about you're being senior captains. You know, what is the message you put forward for your teammates? And I guess, like, in other words, what would you say, you know, the team goal is for this season? Like, did you guys sit down and talk about it, or did the coach bring it forward, or is this something you guys have set for the rest of the team?
I mean, I think every year everyone wants to win, but it's different from wanting to win and putting the effort towards winning, if that makes sense.
And having the whole like mental toughness and the championship mindset my coach has been reiterating to all of us for many months now, and I think if we all get under that same page, that it'll like really click. So.
Okay, well, you know, now we talked about you guys as senior captains. I'm going to emphasize the senior part here. Okay, you're both, I assume, graduating in the spring. You know, this is your last season with the Rowan team. You gotta tell me, what's your favorite Rowan lacrosse memory from both of you? You know, we'll start with Liz and then go right to Maddie.
Oh goodness, there's a lot, but I would probably say my favorite would be the locker rooms. Like, especially last year, the locker room before the TCNJ game. It was just unreal. Like, you look around and you have your best friends all next to you, and you see it, and it's just so cool. Like, you're getting hyped for the game, the music's playing. There's nothing better than like being in the locker room before a game with literally your best friends.
Yeah, I love the locker room, but the one thing we always do on spring break, we have like these lip sync battles, which are so fun, and like they're hilarious, and we're just all dying the whole time, and like each class picks a song and kind of like does like a competition with like a little lip sync like routine, and it's so funny, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like a tradition for you guys? It's something that, when did that start? When you guys were freshmen, or is it just a recent thing?
I mean, it's been like a while.
I think it's like a program.
Yeah.
It's a program thing. Yeah. Okay. You know, now also, I got, you know, Rowan Profs. You know, that's got to mean a lot to you guys. I mean, you've put blood, sweat, and tears into, now this will be your 4th and final year with the team. What are you guys going to miss most about being a Rowan Prof and playing for the lacrosse team?
Just the connection we all have, and we're all so close to each other, and we're like really, not just on the field, but off the field too. Like we hang out all the time, and we're really close friends, so I'm gonna miss like that, like connectness, like, yeah.
Yeah, I think just being on a team, like there's nothing that compares to being on a team. Like you can go home, have fun with your family and stuff, but your team is your family away from your family. So being in like a sport and having that camaraderie, someone always having your back, it's something I'm really gonna miss.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, Liz, Maddie, thanks so much for joining us today. You know, it really means a lot to us here on All Access. But that's going to do it for Prop Spotlight. I'm Mark Etchelli, and now back to Jeremy with this week's Pro Talk.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Pro Talk. I am your host, Jeremy Lightfinger, keeping you up to date with all the happenings of the professional sports world. Let's dive right into it. For the past week or so, sports headlines have been dominated by a number of major trades and free agents in the NFL. 2 former Pittsburgh Steelers joined different teams, as wide receiver Antonio Brown was traded to the Oakland Raiders for draft picks, and running back Le'Veon Bell signed a 4-year, $53 million deal to join the New York Jets. Philadelphia hero Nick Foles joined the Jacksonville Jaguars on a 4-year, $88 million deal to be their starting quarterback. But the move that seemed to shock most fans was the Giants trading star wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns for a 1st and 3rd round pick in this year's draft, plus 2 promising players in Jabril Peppers and Kevin Zeitler. This has many perhaps prematurely pegging the Browns as Super Bowl contenders, even though the team finished last season with a disappointing record of 7-8-1. The Phillies suffered an ugly loss to the Pittsburgh Pirates in the spring training game Thursday afternoon, losing 11-2. Jake Arrieta surrendered 5 runs in just 3 innings pitched, bringing his spring training ERA to a worrisome 7.88. The team's 2 runs came off of a fielding error in the top of the 3rd inning and a solo home run hit by Shane Robinson in the top of the 9th. The Sixers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers on a Wednesday evening by a score of 106-99. Ben Simmons led all scorers with 26 points, also chipping in 10 rebounds and 8 assists. Joel Embiid grabbed 19 rebounds and sealed the game late in the 4th quarter with a thunderous put-back dunk to put the team up by 7. This victory, along with the team's 17-point rout against the Pacers last Sunday, moves them into 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, 3 games behind the Toronto Raptors for 2nd place and 8 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks for 1st. In other NBA news, the Utah Jazz issued a lifetime ban to fan Shane Castle for attending any and all Jazz home games in the future, after getting into a verbal altercation with Oklahoma City Thunder point guard Russell Westbrook. Cell phone footage captured Castle shouting racist and degrading remarks at Westbrook during the 2nd quarter of last week's Jazz-Thunder matchup. The league also fined Westbrook $25,000 for shouting obscenities in response to Castle. The Flyers defeated the Ottawa Senators by a score of 3-2 on Monday evening. Michael Raffle led the way with a goal and an assist. This inches the team closer to a wild-card playoff berth, something that was borderline inconceivable at the beginning of the new year, before the team rattled off 9 straight wins in January and February, which leaves them only currently 4 games out of playoff contention.
Great job, as always, Jeremy. And
Before
we start off, I know we had a couple of pre-planned questions, but I heard in your stand-up, Arrieta, 7.88 ERA in the spring so far. Do you really think that's a problem, or do you think it's just the spring training getting back into playing mode?
It could go either way. I mean, I know he's not the leader of the pitching staff, but at the same time, like 7.88, that's not good. Whether it's spring training, regular season, playoffs, I think it's a little bit worrisome. But at the same time, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Heading into the questions we were going to talk about, though, the NFL, lots of big names in free agency, but it's not just free agency so far. It's also trades. Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham, the 2 star wide receivers, they get traded within the past week. How do you think those 2 guys end up affecting their teams?
I think Odell is going to have an immediate impact with the Browns. He's one of the best receivers in the league, and their roster is really shaping up to be something to be feared. I don't know about Super Bowl contenders, but I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. They're definitely playoff contenders. For the Raiders, I don't know how Brown is going to fit with that offense. They're not very good. But I don't.
But does this make them better?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure it'll take a while for him to build up chemistry with Carr, but I think they'll definitely be a little bit better. But I don't see them making it.
Because I'm a big fan of Derek Carr, so I'm looking forward to see what he does with a star wide receiver, especially after they kind of gave up on Amari Cooper last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Good points there. And now, obviously, moving on, we're getting ever closer and closer to the NBA playoffs. And the Sixers kind of making some moves recently, beating the Pacers, and now the Cavs. Do you think they have what it takes to kind of just overtake and move into that one of those top spots in the East?
You know, I'd love if they would, but I'm also realistic at the same time. I just don't see them beating the Raptors. They just have way more chemistry. They just gel more together, including the acquisitions of Tobias Harris and Butler. They're still trying to form chemistry, and time's running out now that the playoffs are right around the corner. So I'm realistic. I'd say maybe they put up a good fight in like a 7-game series, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, I don't see them beating.
No, and that's definitely a viable answer. And one of those things, especially in the game with the Cavs, is they won.
Yeah.
But they didn't win in a way that they should have. They had 21 turnovers. The Cavs had 4 more steals. What's up with the 76ers playing down to their opponents when they could easily have taken a 15-plus point win?
I think there's a mental issue with it because I remember they beat the Warriors by a pretty good amount a couple weeks ago, and they seemed totally prepared for that. But I guess whenever they play these lower tier teams, they just think they get too confident with themselves. They don't remember that it's still a basketball game. They still have to show up for the game. So I think it's more of a mental issue. I really hope they figure that out.
And you think that's something that they're going to be able to take care of when they get to the playoffs and play teams like the Raptors and the Celtics and the Bucks?
I think so because, I mean, with the playoffs comes way more urgency. Each game counts. Every possession counts. So I feel like they'll come to realize that by playoff time.
We hope they do.
Yeah, hopefully it's something Coach Brett Brown can iron out. And it's still a young team, too, so even if not this year, there's always next year and the years to come. They're trying to keep the squad together. And final question for you, the Flyers, they're trying to make that playoff push. They had that 9-game win streak in January and February, and they're still looking pretty good, even though they've had a couple of losses since then. Do you think they make the playoffs?
Yes, I do. They just look like a completely different team compared to at the start of the season. I feel like everyone's given up on them, and they're going to use that as motivation to make the playoffs, hopefully in the wild card seeding. And I think they'll make some noise. I think people won't be expecting them to be that easy of an opponent, but they'll definitely not be an easy out.
Yeah. Thanks so much, as always, Jeremy, and I hope you have a good spring break, too. Nice week off.
Of course. Have a great spring.
Rebecca is standing by with more members of the women's lacrosse team. So, Rebecca, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to Rowan Roundtable. I'm Rebecca Solzback here with Emma Frost and Kate Snyder from the women's lacrosse team. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks.
So what year are you guys in college to get started?
I'm a senior. I'm also a senior.
Are you guys excited to graduate? Are we both graduating this semester?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. How old are you guys? You're both 22?
21.
21? Okay. When do you turn 22?
July.
Oh, so you turn 22 after you graduate? Mm-hmm. You're on the same time?
Memorial Day weekend, so like right after graduation.
Oh, okay. What are your majors?
Marketing.
Do
Bio.
you know what you want to do? Any specifics?
Not really.
Like any specific field or anything?
I don't know. I enjoy event planning. I'm like in
an
event planning class right now, so it's something I'm into.
Okay.
And I'm going to med school in August.
What are you going for? Any specific?
I like pediatrics, but they say whatever you think you want to do, you end up doing.
I know. I understand that because I was there. I got accepted to Rowan for bio, so I was there in that same position. So going into lacrosse, how old were you guys when you started playing?
I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
And I started in 5th grade.
You started a lot later than her?
Yeah.
What sparked your interest? What made you want to try it?
I played soccer my whole life, and then my lacrosse coach in high school came up to me one day and was just like, you should come out, you're athletic.
I feel like a lot of times soccer players go to lacrosse.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really common.
It was like my whole soccer team played lacrosse, so I was like, why not?
What sparked your interest? Was it like a parent who put you in it?
No, all my friends played, and our coach growing up was actually my best friend's dad, so it was almost like you didn't really have a choice.
Really?
We were friends with his daughter, like, you had to play because he started the program, and so they needed enough numbers to make the program stick around.
So where are you guys from? Where did you play before Rowan? What town?
I'm from Columbus, New Jersey.
Okay.
I'm from Stewartsville, which is like a super small town in the middle of nowhere.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of either of them. I'm from around here,
Mine's
so.
really tiny.
Yeah. Did you guys consider playing any other sports in college, or were you always lacrosse? And then did you stop playing soccer?
Yeah, I thought about playing soccer when I first came here.
You did?
And then I just took lacrosse instead.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought about playing field hockey here also, but I figured with bio, I probably should try and play 2 sports.
Did you guys consider any other colleges for lacrosse?
I didn't. I was a walk-on here, so I didn't really get recruited. I kind of just came out. Okay.
I looked at Salisbury and then a couple schools out in Ohio.
Oh, really? That far away? What made you want to go that far?
Well, originally I did not want to stay in New Jersey. Okay. My whole family's here. My sister went to school in New Jersey, so I was like, I just want to get out. And then I went out there and was there for less than 24 hours and was like, absolutely
Really?
Not. And came here.
Do you guys have any family members that play lacrosse? No?
Nobody in my family at all.
Does your sister?
No, no one in my family plays sports except
me.
Oh,
really? Do you guys have any pregame rituals?
We have
like
team
rituals.
Yeah, we like team.
Do you have any personal ones or team ones?
We're the same sports bra.
Really?
To all the home games, yeah.
That's funny.
It's kind of weird.
Did you guys go pick them out together, or did they just supply them?
No, I wear the same exact one of my own. Nobody else wears them.
Oh, you do? I thought you meant the whole team.
No,
no.
That would be funny.
Weird. Oh, I was like, no. Do you guys have any nicknames?
I just go by my last name. Everyone calls me Schneider instead of Kate.
Oh, okay.
That's it, though.
You don't have any?
No.
No? What would be your favorite memory? We'll do from before Rowan and then in college, like at Rowan. What was your favorite memory for the lacrosse team?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, for Rowan would definitely be before the TCNJ final game last year. The locker room was just crazy. We have on our warm-up CD video of it, sound of it, because we were just,
really?
Yeah, it was so exciting and the energy was really there. High school though, I don't even know. My team was just really close in high school, and then when I came here, I feel like our freshman year we were close. We weren't that close, but now this year and last year, our team is so close. And we're all really good friends. So I just think that in high school was definitely probably my favorite part.
Oh, I'm trying to think of high school. High school, probably my senior year, we made it to our conference semifinals, which is something my school had never done before because we weren't very good. So that was cool. And then for Rowan, also the TCNJ locker room, but last year we beat Catholic for the first time in a long time. And they were ranked 11th at the time, and so that was when we all kind of realized we actually were good enough to compete with top 20 teams.
Yeah.
And then we became one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anyone that you guys look up to? I know I asked you if you have any siblings that play, but is there any family member that pushed you to be where you are today? Any other athlete that you look up to?
I would say another athlete would be Nicole Mickendrow. She graduated last year. She graduated last year. When I first came here, I just watched her play a lot. So as I've grown through the program, you can see that I've kind of taken on a lot of her traits when she plays. I kind of play like her. I'm not as good as her. She's really good. But yeah, definitely Nicole. Player.
Yeah, for me, kind of similar. Coming in, I knew I wasn't going to be starting, so I played 3 years under Erin Horner, who graduated last year, and she's now our coach and my best friend.
Awesome.
And so I always we worked really well together and just sort of looked up to all of she was really good, and left me big shoes to fill, and so I looked up to her throughout that time.
What positions do you guys play, and is there a reason that you picked that position? Is there anyone you watched that made you want to play that position?
I played defense. I think I just played defense because when I played soccer, I played defense. So I wasn't really an attacking mindset. And I think I like to think more. I don't know. Think more when I play, and I feel defense, you really have to think a lot. So
I'm a goalie, and I actually started out for my first 3 years playing defense and was horrible at it. And so one day our goalie quit, and my coach was like, well, you should try it. And I wasn't that bad at it, so I just kind of stuck with it.
So do you guys have any goals for this season?
I definitely want an NJAC.
That's what I was gonna.
But just to go through the ride, I think last year our ride in the NCAA tournament wasn't what we thought it was going to be when we went in. Got cut short. So I think going into the season, that's something that when I ride out all the way. It's our senior year. It's
definitely.
It's our last shot to kind of make our program stand out there. So.
Yeah, kind of like Kate said, I think not only win an NJAC and make it far in NCAAs, but beat the teams that people have always said we can't beat.
Yeah.
TCNJ being a big part of that. They count us out. And so beating them and proving to Catholic that beating them last year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, if you guys were going to change anything that happened last year, it would just be trying to, like, beat the teams that you guys couldn't beat, I assume.
Yeah.
I think, like, the way we grew from the season, I think that...
is there anything that really made you guys grow from that?
I think
last season,
going into NCAAs, none of us had been there before, and it's a whole different ball game. And we hosted, and so all we did was play lacrosse because there was nothing else to do in Glassboro. And I think a lot of us didn't understand that, like, that game was the end. We just felt like, oh, we'll get another game because that's how the whole season was, and that's not how it is. So I think just taking that experience and pushing it through the freshman class and making sure that those expectations are set prior to going into NCAAs.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, definitely. So thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Rebecca. Let's round out the show with some action from the Diamond. Sean?
The Randolph-Mason Yellow Jackets rained on Rowan's parade last Friday as they took a narrow 1-0 win over the Profs. Shortstop Savannah Woods scored the singular run in the fourth off of an error and a ground out by second baseman Maddie Stone, despite the no-hitter thrown by Rowan pitcher Jesse DiDomenico. The two-game series came to a halt in the second game following a rain delay that will not be made up.
The women's softball team rallied against William Pace University this past Saturday to take a 5-3 win over the Pacers. After 4 scoreless innings, the Profs tacked on 4 with runs from Lauren Shannon, Morgan Zane, and Kelly Duffy. Shannon also struck out 7 batters. William Pace rallied in the final inning with 3 runs, but the Profs batted in one more to stop any chance of the opposing team keeping pace.
The Profs baseball team eked out to a 3-2 victory against Stevenson on Monday. The Profs took an early 2-0 lead in the first inning after an RBI double by Mitch Walker scored Dylan Mendel and Matt Woods. Dan Shane would bunt in the third run in the next inning as Steve Hewitt crossed the plate. After Stevenson rallied to bring the score within 1, Andrew Cartier struck out the final battle to seal the victory despite there being men on base in the 9th. The team improves to 2-0 in the season heading into their trip to Russ Met Central Florida Invitational.
All right, I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
May have not have proofread those last 2 stories.
Yeah, I felt, that's not us usually. We're usually on our game.
It might have been on me.
It might have been.
That's all right. I still fit your joke in there.
He got my joke in there, but he didn't say my line that said, ha, get it.
That's what's important. But baseball team, they fit in the game after not playing in a while because of the weather. They barely eked out a win, but they do improve to 2-0.
Which is good. Which is good, especially to show the dominance in the early parts of the season. You really need to showcase that stuff off, especially since at the end of the month, you're going to see them kind of coming back here to Rowan and start playing a lot of games at Rowan. So you want to get everybody hyped up for the season here so we can get some more turnout.
And same thing with the softball team. They have a 2-2 record, but it's still early in the season. And these 2 teams, they're ranked pretty high in the NJAC. Yeah. So good seasons are ahead for that.
They have to be ahead because they really need to show up and show off the expectation that's given to them.
Yeah, and something we didn't recap during the show, just something to mention. Track and field team went to the Division III championships last week. All-American honors were awarded to Aspen McMillan, who got 4th place in the 60-meter hurdles, and Michelle McCauley, who earned 6th place in the long jump. So congratulations to those 2 members of the women's track team to get those honors. And upcoming, it's our spring break, but there is tons of baseball and softball, swimming and diving, and the Division III championships for track and field going down in Orlando, and I'll be nearby because I'm going to Florida.
Oh, good for you, Derek.
So, what are you up to this spring break?
What am I up to spring break? I'm just chilling out. I'm having a nice time with some family, and I'm going to go see a movie.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going to be really good. I might go see that Captain Marvel.
Nice.
And then I'm probably going to go bowling.
That seems like you got, even though you're just chilling out, it seems like you got a bunch of plans too,
Derek, you got to keep yourself busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great to have a break off from school.
Oh, I know. It'll be fantastic. Yeah. But we're coming back in, coming back all guns a-blazing in 2 weeks.
No, I agree with you. We got the last month and a half coming up in about a week. But that's all for us on this episode of All Access. For Mark Acitelli, Rebecca Sulzbach, Jeremy Lightfinger, and Sean Kelly, I'm Derek Hill. We'll see you next time on All Access.